Friday, December 2nd, 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Prime Flash with me, Dolly Ngonde, for presentation. Let us begin the news this morning with this story coming from the Central region, where 13 shops have been ravaged by fire at the Ezeka market there, of course, in the Central region. And according to sources, the fire generated from a cosmetic shop before spreading to other parts of the market. Catherine Ekongwe has details in the following report.
A good number of shops have reportedly been reduced to ashes following a fire incident that broke out at Mashebe in Ezeka, Central region of Cameroon on the night of Tuesday, breaking Wednesday. According to sources, the fire generated from a cosmetic shop before extending to other neighboring shops. Council workers and the population that was present at the scene struggled to bring down the fire and broke into other neighboring shops in a bid to remove valuable materials. Also present at the scene in the morning was the president of the Cameroon Party for National Reconciliation, PCRON Cabrali B, the mayor of Ezeka, and other authorities in the area who sympathized with the victims.
The fire was starting in one of our markets, so I called upon my services to come on the field to try to stop the fire. Also, we received a lot of support from our armed forces. They came on the ground and they saw what was going on, and they tried to stop the fire by asking people to destroy two of the boxes towards what the fire was going to.
In addition, the mayor has assured the victims that the council will see how they can come to their aid after assessing the material damages.
Today we are trying to relocate those who lost their boxes here so that they can keep doing their jobs, because we know that a lot of families depend on these commercial activities. We still work on the ground. You see Mr. Cabrali B is on the ground and is trying to find solution with the government. We are going to write to the President of the Republic to see what he can do for the population of Ezeka to help them overcome this crisis.
The fire incident, which broke out on the night of Tuesday, breaking Wednesday, has recorded huge material losses with no human lives lost.
And yesterday was December 1st, which has been celebrated as World AIDS Day, the day set aside by the World Health Organization, who since 1988 is to raise awareness and also to curb the spread of the virus, whose cure is yet to be discovered since 41 years ago. Let's get details in this report with Eileen Summer.
The 2022 edition of World AIDS Day is commemorated under the theme Equalize. In Cameroon, Dr. Njobisi Serge, coordinator at the Care and Treatment Center of the Baptist Hospital Mbopi Douala, says the prevalence rate in the nation has dropped.
Generally, nationwide, the prevalence of HIV has come down. Currently, it stands at 2.3%. as compared to, let's say, 5-10 years back, we're having up to 4, 5, 6%. So I think we are winning the war. Those we still have a lot to do. But if I'm talking about Mbopi Baptist Hospital, I think nowadays more people are now aware of HIV. Aware of the complication. They are also aware about the route of transmission.
Note that the National AIDS Trust is committed to stopping new cases of HIV, securing the rights of people living with HIV, and fighting HIV stigma and discrimination.
Talking about stigmatization, I think we have done very well in that domain. HIV is not what people used to think. People now are ready to accept it and even to open up. If I should take the example of care and treatment where I work as a coordinator, we see people coming to test and they are ready to share it with their family members. They are partners Okay, and the health worker also have, because of the knowledge they have now, okay, their attitude towards patient has really changed.
Dr. Serge reiterated the mode of transmission.
The mode of spread or transmission of HIV still remains what we call heterosexual mode of transmission, meaning it is contacted through sex, be it anal sex or through the vagina, especially when you are not using a condom. There are other means of contamination or contacting HIV, which are maybe the use of unsterile or needle, sharp, or instrument. Okay, there is also another mode of transmission which is from mother to child. It's known as vertical transmission.
A word of advice from the medical practitioner is?
As a word of advice, I will tell the young people, number one, abstain. That's the rule number one. Abstain from sex. Okay, that's what we call the ABC of abstinence. If you cannot abstain, then practice safe sex, meaning you have to protect yourself using a condom. Okay, and it's also important for them to test. That's where to start. Everybody should know his status.
Note that in Cameroon and across the world, HIV and AIDS treatment is free of charge, but HIV remains a major public health issue that affects more than 2 million people in the World Health Organization European region. Activities marking the day include free HIV screening and health talks in public places like motor parks and markets.
Alin Sama, the relatively prelude to the International Human Rights Day to be celebrated on December 10th, 2022, some physically challenged persons in the central region, precisely in Yaoundé, have sought opportunities to be exploited, where their talents can be exploited so they can be brought to the limelight. Let's get details now with Bo Elvis as he tells us more in this report.
In Cameroon, this is the number you should call when faced with a human rights abuse. As the country prepares to join the world to observe the International Human Rights Day on December 10, the National Commission for Human Rights and Freedom is concerned about access to public buildings for people living with disabilities in Cameroon. During this year's Human Rights Week, human rights organizations are expected to take part in daily activities geared towards building a society where rights are valued.
Well, the message would be that they should not think that they are forgotten in society. That the Commission for Human Rights in Cameroon has them at heart, as we've taken into consideration their accessibility, their access to public buildings when they are being constructed. That they are not forgotten at all. Especially this week that we're going to celebrate the International Day for the Handicapped People.
People with disabilities are talented, yet sometimes ignored. We all have some skills, we all lack some others, and we can all contribute. The National Rehabilitation Center for Persons with Disabilities in Etogebe, Yaoundé has been at the forefront when it comes to empowering them.
We're trying to promote here an inclusive society, such as the special school and a school for children with special needs. We have a primary school here. We have some workshops for carpentry. We have for graphic arts, for serigraphy, and the medical aspects is very important because we are working with some physiotherapists, some specialists as far as neurology is concerned, orthopedic surgeons is concerned, otorhinolaryngology is concerned, and the neuropediatric is concerned.
Families with relatives living with disabilities are more likely to experience harsher economic conditions. Disability is not a curse. For this reason, the physically challenged need our love and care.
Tout paraît beau, tout paraît léger, comme si le monde avait changé. C'est la vie, la vie.
Indeed, disability is not inability. Let's now talk development as the Western Regional Council adopts its regional development plan as a compass to enable the council achieve some 2023 projects with a fixed budget which has been adopted as well. Let's get details ahead of the story. The road to decentralization is getting broader in Cameroon as regional councillors can now handle their own budgetary orientation debates. After long hours of deliberations, the session members of the Western Regional Council have been able to come up with the region's development plan.
Relieved today that we have, the councillors have adopted the regional development plan of the West region. It was really a problematic type of document to elaborate, but today it has gone through the council and we are so happy and proud that we have done a very good job. All the observations that are being brought up by the regional councillors, we will make sure that we are going to insert it in the plan so that it should be a plan that befits all the criteria that takes into consideration the needs and aspiration of our population, pending the approval now of the supervisory authority, the governor of the West region.
Besides being a compass for development, this plan will also allow the institutions to get to work according to the derogatives of their executive institution.
We are grateful in the Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development for the opportunity that is being given to us to talk about this budgetary orientation debate. And I was mandated by the minister to come to talk to the regional council of the West region about all what concerns the session that is concerned by the budgetary orientation debate. And within that session is just to discuss about all the elements that are being proposed by the president of the regional council to the members of the regional council for them to give their orientation on how the budget has to be drafted so that when they will come for the budgetary session, they will adopt on the orientation that were given to them.
And with the current socio-economic crisis hitting almost every part of Cameroon, it is expected that this regional development plan gets to contain the plight of the common man. In the same light, the sum of 7.4 million francs CFA has been adopted as the Nginicom 2023 Council budget. The Mayor, Young Samuel Law, while addressing the session, said the budget will be used in constructing new classrooms, bridges, culverts, amongst other projects. As we get more in this report with Charles Kabwa.
The 2022 budget of the Nginicom Council, which stands at 749,949,917 FCFA, adopted November 30, 2022, in the presence of Boyo SDO Tine Fidel, the Divisional Delegate of Decentralization and Local Development, Forces of Law and Order, as well as elites of the municipality. The budget at 749,949,917 FCFA, which balances in revenue and expenditure, witnessing a slight increase of $1 million, with functional revenue, which stands at 291,949,917 FCFA, investment revenue at 458 million FCFA, and functional expenditure at 252,370,000 FCFA, whereas investment expenditure at 497,579,917 FCFA, seeing more budget fixed towards the development, given the Nginicom development plan is to develop the municipality as much as they can.
The last rank of the regional councils in respect to development, the Nginicom Council was ranked the 5th, and for 2023. The year that is just coming up, we want to think that the mechanism we're going to put in place to even come up to the first position is that we have to work as a team. We have to work in synergy. We have to collaborate. We have to make sure that we put all what it takes for our projects to be realized and realized on time too. So the secret is just that we want to think that we work as a team. Normally achieve our goals.
Nginicom Council Mayor Young Samuel Lu said, despite the security challenges faced in the division, Nginicom is not going to remain the same. He appealed councillors mobilize resources, encourage citizens pay taxes and expose Newcomb Council positively to whichever donor they come across with future projects the council envisages. If the budget is realized, the council shall build more classrooms, build bridges, culverts, more electrification and water schemes to better the livelihood of the Newcomb population. It should be noted, during the year 2022, series of projects were realized in the municipality with the help of the bid, such as construction of bridges over River Ngongnambang, construction of Wombong Iku Village Hall, supply of medical equipment to health centers, electrification of street lights with solar lamps, and lots more.
And away from that, the president of the National Communication Council, Joseph Kalabupsu, has urged journalists in the Southwest region to possess a change of attitude while improving on their reporting skills. Staff Lady Emanuela C. was in attendance and put the following report for us.
In a bid to improve on the reporting style of journalists in the Southwest region, a region hit by crisis, the president of the National Communication Council has, in a 5-hour exchange, tasked journalists in the Southwest region to be professional in their reporting.
What I expect is an improvement in the reporting style, because when you talk to them about conflict reporting and the instrumentalization of journalists, it means that it's an ear that has been noticed. And so with the old hands and all what we have reminded them about, we expect a change of attitude and an improvement in the reporting style.
The professional talk was held with veteran journalist Victor Ngome Epie, columnist Kandem Fobinake, the regional delegate of communication, and other divisional delegates of communication, veteran journalist Victor Epie Ngome. In his presentation of crisis reporting, urged journalists to be dispassionate in their reporting of crisis. He laments that the journalism of today has greatly changed, as journalists tend to report what they think than what they see. The journalists, on the other hand, say they are edified exchanging with these veterans.
It was necessary, I think it was very necessary and timely that an exchange of this nature be organized. And on a personal note, I think I've learned so much. I've had the opportunity to table my own personal worries to them and hear the explanations and justifications for certain actions that they take as the National Communication Council and the advice generally to media practitioners.
A new dawn for journalists in the Southwest region, as they are urged to go back and change their reporting style.
That was Emanuela C. Let's now talk sports as we give you updates of the FIFA World Cup. Cameroon faces of Brazil tonight at the Lusail Iconic Stadium in the Group G of the Qatar 2022 FIFA World Cup. The match, which is due for 8 p.m. Cameroon time, will determine the Lions' stay within the rest of the competition, as many footballers in Cameroon or football fans are keeping their fingers crossed. Meanwhile, Morocco joins Senegal in the first 8 for the first time in 30 years. The Atlas Lions have made a huge move to be among the last 16 groups so far, as Belgium goes crashing after playing a 0-tie against Croatia, and finally Canada has gone home with 0 points, just like Tunisia from Africa. And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Prime Flash. It has been produced, of course, by Elvis, Modika. My name is Dolly, Ngonde. Up next is The Brief with Lasha Kingsley and Gladys Bomotongina. Stay tuned for more interesting programs only on The African Eye.
Welcome to a new world of TV broadcasting. My Media Prime. News, discovery.